of history's embrace. Captain's quarters sets the pace with Captain Mayhem at the helm. A voyage of knowledge, a story to round. Captain's quarters weekly delight, where history's treasures take flight. Led by Mayhem, Longwood, and Joe, they explore the past, row by row. Navigator Longwood charts the course, guiding listeners to knowledge's source. Cartographer Joe with maps in hand unveils. Cartographer Joe with maps in hand unveils.
Hi, welcome to the podcast, Captain's Quarters Podcast. Hi, welcome to the. All right, what have I got going on? Hold on a minute. Something's on that's not supposed to be on. Hold on a minute. Something's on that's not. There we go. All right. Can't have more than one window open at a time. On that note, hey, it is our 172nd episode of Captain's Quarters Podcast. And I forgot to change something on it. Wait a minute. I sent the wrong one to myself and to you, Davey. Good. I'm really on with it now. Anyway, it is the 172nd episode. Davey, if you're looking at the one I'm looking at, unless I got the wrong one, let me look.
Yeah,
oh,
172.
You got 172?
Yes.
Well, I don't have 172. Hold on a minute. Why don't I have 172? Well, I'll get it somewhere in here in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and tell everybody how you can find our show. Our show can be found, Captain's Quarters Podcast, YouTube, at that QR code. Like us, follow us, and do whatever else you can. We love to have you be a part of the show. On that note, what's first, Davey? 8 Bells, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. And they also give up a good pizza, and we have them all the time. Marco's Pizza, you'll want to try their sandwiches for lunches, too. Great deal. How many we have tonight, Davey?
We have 6 regular ones and then a special one.
All right, let's go ahead and do them. David Edward Byrd, an American graphic artist, designer, illustrator, and painter. Many of his designs are considered to have helped define the look of rock and roll music starting in the 60s. He was most well known for his poster designs, including his rock posters for Fillmore East, as well as his Broadway theater posters. In the period 1968 to 73, he and Fantasy Unlimited created posters for Jimi Hendrix, Iron Butterfly, Jefferson Airplane, Ravi Shaku, Traffic, and Billy Graham. The Grateful Dead. Byrd worked with The Who for their rock opera Tommy, designing the poster for the band's 1971 performance at the Metropolitan Opera House. Byrd designed posters for notable stage musicals, including Follies, Godspell, The Robber's Bridegroom, The Grand Tour, The Survival of St. Joan, Jesus Christ Superstar, Little Shop of Horrors, and others. He was 93 years old. Jake Penrod, an American businessman. He was the founder and owner of Nikki Beach Worldwide, a global luxury lifestyle and hospitality brand. Before founding Nikki Beach, Penrod was the founder and owner of Penrod's Beach Club in Daytona Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Prior to the club's business, Penrod was the largest McDonald's franchise owner in Florida in the 1980s. He was 85 years old. Dave Jordan, an American record producer, audio engineer, and mixer. He is best known for producing, engineering, and mixing albums recorded by a variety of bands from mid to late 1980s and 1990s, including the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction, Alice in Chains, Social Distortions, The Offspring, Anthrax, Fishbone, The Meat Puppets, and Spinal Tap. He had also engineered and mixed albums by the Rolling Stones, Talking Heads, and Frank Zappa. However, Jordan had stated that he disliked the term producer, preferring to refer to himself primarily as an engineer. He was 75. C. William Cagle, an American driver of modified stock cars. He won over 415 feature events and 26 championships at East Coast venues stretching from Florida to Canada. In 1986, he became general manager at Orange County and later promoted Florida's East Bay Raceway and U.S. International Speedway. He was 86. David Anthony Roberts, an American actor. He was known for his roles in 6 Woody Allen films and most notably Annie Hall. He was also in theater, television, and radio. He was 85. And Blue French, an American actor who acted for more than 30 years. He is best known for his recurring role as Father Lonigan on the NBC daytime drama Passions, appearing in over 400 episodes between 1999 and 2008. He was also noted for having portrayed a number of different characters across the Star Trek universe, including the empath adjutant to Gene Simmons in The Drumhead, cited as one of the best episodes in the franchise. He was 79 years old. And this is a special one. Krusty, the mayor of the courtyard. He was a well-loved figure sitting on the bench in front of Stogie's in the courtyard there just off of St. George Street. It is with heavy heart we share the passing of our dear friend Krusty, who left us this past Saturday at 88 years old. A longtime customer and true staple of Stogie's, Krusty was just a familiar face. He was family, known to all as the mayor of the courtyard. His warm, quick smile, quick wit, and unwavering friendship touched everyone who had the pleasure of knowing him. I can tell you, him and I traded many quips back and forth. Krusty's presence made Stogie's more than just a cigar shop. He created a space of camaraderie and laughter. His stories, his kindness, and the joy he brought will be deeply missed but never forgotten. We will be sharing more tribute posts in the coming days to this honorable, incredible life and the impact he had on our Stogie's family. He also was a vet. And it is with sadness that we honor him with 8 bells along with the others of ours for this week. 8 bells, Davey. Very good, Davey. So what is next? I believe it's Joke of the Week, isn't it?
It is.
All right, so let's have Joke of the Week.
Ahoy, mates. Moody Mayhem here with Joke of the Week. Sponsored by our cartoonist friend Travis Rami of Salt City Comics. What is a pirate's worst enemy? Think about it, and I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
All right, Davey. We'll see what happens at the end of the show on that joke. Hopefully it's funny. We'll see. I am trying to get my listing of the show, but for now, what's next, Davey?
Quote of the week.
Quote of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do quote of the week. And sponsored by, there it is right there. Hold on a minute. There's the one I'm looking for right there. There we go. It helps when you do it right the first time. Don't know how that happened. All right, quote of the week, ladies and gentlemen. With Spyglass Travel. If you want a good tour, walking tour of St. Augustine, why join us? Call our friends at Spyglass Travel and get a wonderful walking tour of the oldest city in St. Augustine. Go ahead, Davey. Quote of the week. Character is how you treat those who can do nothing for you. That's a good quote. I like that one. Very good. As you noticed, we had advertised my brother would be on the show, but I think some connection problems have caused some issues. I had a gift to present to him, something that I found in one of the stores, if you can see it. His middle name is King, and we decided that we saw this for Kara and I, and we decided to buy it for him. I'm not sure what it's actually for because it's not really something you wear, but it looked pretty cool. We think it'll probably look really nice in his house. But on that note, hopefully he'll be able to stream in. If not, well, we'll get him next time. Let's see. Question of the week. It's Valentine's Day, and who better to sponsor this question for sure than Ancient City Sirens? Our friends at Ancient City Sirens, run entirely by Miss Gina, one of the best dancers you'll ever find. They and her girls, they will provide you with whatever you need for dance of any event. So tune in and find out. But for now, what's the question? So what do you think is the greatest way to show your special someone how special they are on Valentine's Day? Well, my wife and I have a tradition. That tradition is usually a sushi dinner because we just love it, and it is how we started our relationship ages and ages ago. Oh, there he is. He did climb in. Very good. Good to see you. Now,
Hang on.
so we'll show his present off again. We found this about 2 weeks ago and decided to pick it up for you. And now you have us waiting for you. We were going to give it to you tonight because we thought you were going to be here. But since you're not, there it is there. We'll hang on to it until we see you again down the road, which hopefully will be. See, we ain't the only ones with issues with pirates and technology. No, you're not, Parlay 8. We have had issues tonight. We always have issues. Always seems to be, in the words of Roseanne Adana, if it isn't one thing, it's another. If you're a big Saturday Night Live fan, you'll remember her. All right. So let's see. Question of the week. So have you planned your welcome in Mayhem? Have you planned your Valentine's with your lovely?
Yes. I'm going to go to the junior store and get a can of Vienna sausage, a candy bar, and a soda.
All right. Is that for you or is that for her?
Oh, that's for her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want anything for Valentine's. I got to treat her right like a queen.
Well, you can let her wear your crown then. It's made of metal too, by the way. It's pretty cool, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the King middle name is a very prominent thing in our family because that's my middle name. That's my son's middle name, and that's actually my dog's middle name.
Now your dog's name.
It was actually Dad's name, our dad's name, our grandfather's name.
Yep, and you have the whole thing. And yeah. Will the historian says, how do you get your wife the perfect when she hit the jackpot marrying you? Well, that's probably debatable, but we'll leave it alone for now. We'll see how it goes.
Some of them want refunds.
Yeah.
Aye. So, weigh in. You know what? I need to put my glasses on because I need to see. I see some names there. Parlay 8's there. That's kind of cool. Lord Imperatus. Greetings, my friend. It's good to see you on the show. Parlay 8.
There we go.
Nightingale in Florida. Of course, Mayhem over in Panama City. William the historian, or Will the historian. There's Jim up there. Jim came to our social last week, and we may have convinced him to join the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. We'll see how that goes. Zachary Harker is there. So we got a good crowd tonight.
Hello, guys. How's everybody doing?
Hi. So let's see. Hey, it's time for This Week in Nautical History, Davey.
All right.
How about, and we don't have a sponsor for this one right now. We're still working on getting new sponsors for 2025. So with no sponsor, we're just going to say this is sponsored by everyone. Go ahead, Davey, This Week in Nautical History.
We begin This Week in Nautical History in the year 1502. Vasco da Gama set sail from Lisbon, Portugal on his second voyage to India. 1601. Fleet of 5 British East Indian Company vessels departs on their first voyage from London, led by Sir James John Lancaster, commanding the Red Dragon. Journey takes nearly 16 months. 1762. British fleet occupies Martinique. 1797. Battle of Cape St. Vincent. British fleet under Admiral Sir John Jervis defeats larger Spanish fleet under Admiral Don Jose de Cordoba La Ramos near Cape St. Vincent, Portugal. Captain Horatio Nelson distinguishes himself. 1809, American inventor Robert Fulton patents the steamboat. 1862, Galena, first U.S. ironclad warship for service at sea, launched, Connecticut. 1906, British battleship HMS Dreadnought launches after only 100 days, renders all other capital ships obsolete with its revolutionary design. 1907, passenger ship Larchmont sinks by Block Island, off Rhode Island, 322 die. 1915, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson protests to Britain on the use of U.S. flags on British merchant ships to deceive the Germans. 1916, the German ambassador in Washington announces that Germany will pay an indemnity for American lives lost on Lusitania. 1942, German battle cruisers Scharnhorst and National, the heavy cruiser Prince Eugene escapes from Brest to Germany in a dash up the English Channel. And finally, in 1988, U.S. Navy frigate USS Yorktown bumped by Russian frigate Bezeventne in the Black Sea in dispute over right of innocent passage. And that was This Week in Nautical History.
Very good, Davey. Some really good ones there. As always, you find some of the best ones. So let's do community events real quick, and it's very short. Community events. Was that your dog or mine?
That was King and DJ.
Okay. I heard a yelp.
Yeah.
Stop kicking them. March. We're only going to really do a quick one here. Davey, Celtic Festival and Seafood Festival. Celtic Festival is the 7th, 8th, and 9th of March. And with any luck, Mayhem and his lovely wife will be over to be a part of us. And I'm working on some ideas that the Mayhem brothers will run the beer booth, at least in the evening during the Albernaut concert.
Yeah, and I'm helping, and we're hoping we get to interview them in our podcast tent.
Yep, I'm hoping we can. We'll go over and talk to them and see what we can do. We're hoping to have our new podcast tent set up. Also, we may be setting up Quartermaster Pew's large 16 by 16 tent over there instead of all of our smaller tents. So we may have the podcast inside with just banners and stuff. So we'll see which then gives me an opportunity. We're trying to get a new logo encrusted podcast tent. So we may not need it by Celtic, but we will definitely need it by Seafood Festival, which is the last weekend of March. Put up there. There it is. The Seafood Festival. Both of those are major charity events, and we like to help everybody be a part of that. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers have been a part of both of those events for over 15 years now each on both of them. So we have a long-standing accomplishment of working with both the Celtic Festival since they started, which I believe they started in 2009 was the first Celtic Festival here. And the
did after the first pirate event?
That was the first pirate event was
2008.
2008, and I think the Celtic Festival was either 9 or 10, and we've been a part of that since then. So we want to continue to be a part of it, and the money we raise from the beer tent goes to a good cause, helping all of our all the charities that St. Augustine has. And speaking of charities, Davey, do you happen to have the one for Alia's Acres real quick? Yeah. Alia's Acres had a terrible fire, and the entire complex was destroyed by fire 4 weeks ago, I think. And so they're still trying to collect money. Last week, while we were on the street, we had pirate people taking pictures of pirates, and we showed them that little card and told them if they wouldn't mind making a donation to Alia's Acres in the name of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. So it worked out pretty well. I do know that there were probably about a dozen donations made. I don't know how much it was. We don't keep track. We don't even know. So there you go. Alia's Acres. We're all about animals, right? So let's see. And on that note, no introductions needed here. The other side of the state is represented by another Mayhem, Ransom Mayhem. And he's got the Pirates of the White Sands and probably one of the premier pirate festivals of the state now, I think. Really?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think so.
I mean, I think this past year we had 30,000 people show up to it.
Yeah. And you're giving a run for the money to Tybee Island, which is always the same weekend.
Yes.
But if you remember, my predictions were that if you kept going, you would be doing not necessarily better, but showing a different kind of pirate festival than what Tybee Island does.
Yeah,
So,
well, the event here started as a street festival.
Just like Tybee.
Yep, inside Pier Park, and finally got them to move it over to Aaron Besant so we could actually have encampments. The first year we had maybe 2 tents. This is the third year. Last year was the third year that we put it over at Aaron Besant. Last year we had 15 period tents. The crew from Beaufort has come down and helped us for the last several years. So as they're cooking their food and they're doing stuff, Pirates of the White Sands is cooking food and doing living history. And it made it just a phenomenal event.
Yeah, and we missed it because the weekend before was the hurricane that hit here and caused us all kinds of problems here.
I will have to say some of it happened very, very cool for me personally. I met a group of people at the pirate event that was really interested, and I showed them every tent we had, how they were handmade and what part this was. And then the next weekend we met them again. They showed up at an event we were doing. It was Halloween. And then I got a call from them. They were all Navy divers. And I found out not only were they Navy divers, they were all medical doctor divers. And they were graduating from the Panama City School here at the Navy base. And as you know, or if you don't know, Panama City has one of the most premier dive schools in the United States. And they had a pinning ceremony. And one of the divers that was graduating wanted me to come in pirate garb and pin him for his ceremony.
Very cool.
Because we met them at the pirate event.
Yeah. So it shows that the events that we do have webs going out all over the place, and we touch people's lives in many, many ways. What was that picture you just popped up there, Davey?
Dale's crew.
That's the Ransom, which is our ship. I actually measured it today just to see how long it was, and it's 58 feet long. And that's a lot of our crew and people that come and do the parades with us.
So that's the Pirates of the White Sands.
That particular one was taken at a Mardi Gras in St. Andrews.
And you got 2 parades coming up here over the next week or so, right?
Yes. This coming Saturday, we have the Mardi Gras at Pier Park, hosted by Crew Dominic U, that we are a part of to be with that parade. And then the following weekend, we have the Mardi Gras in St. Andrews. That's almost like a 2.5 mile parade that we do. And then 2 weeks after that, we have another event working with the Kiwanis here in Panama City.
Oh, look at that. I can see the screen. Oh. So this will be the 4th year that you're doing the festival at the grounds at the park, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've done it at in Pier Park for probably 10 years.
Right.
But this will be the 4th year doing it at Aaron Besant, where we can actually have encampments and everything going on.
Well, that'll be cool. Well, barring, of course, always the hurricane season that it is, barring any of that, our crew will be back over there again.
Yeah, we've only had to cancel it twice in the whole time we've been doing it because of hurricanes.
Yeah, we got there for one of those cancellations and just stayed for the weekend.
Yes, I was able to make that happen. Yes.
Yeah, so we had a good time, even though the hurricane came through. It was still okay. We had a good time.
Oh yeah.
It's a great event.
We've increased from like just vendors from 10 or 12, maybe 20 that we've had to almost 40, 50 vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a great event. And Parlay 8 says, we'll be happy to escape the cold and be there.
Parlay 8, you're always welcome down here, love.
Yeah. So we have made some decisions on Old City Pirate Festival. When we first started doing Old City Pirate Festival in the last week of January, the Night of Lights was not as huge as it was. And then all of a sudden they decided to move the Night of Lights into January also. They ended it just after the first of the year. Then several years ago, they extended it all the way to the last weekend of January. And so many things have changed, cost and involvement and everything. I mean, it's just, so we have made a decision, and we're still checking dates, but we're going to move our event somewhere into the April-May timeframe, and the first one will be in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to do one in 25.
Well, if you notice, we came over Pirates of the White Sands. It was just been a couple of us came over for a couple of the Old City Pirate Fest and set stuff up.
I mean, we have a great piece of property to do it on. We'll never grow big. I don't want it to, but they're making some changes to the property. That was going to be one of the other issues, is that there was some construction going to be happening on the grounds while we were there, and then around the same time we made the decision to not have to deal with it, they made the decision that the construction has been moved several months down the road. So, when you put on an event, trying to make everything work like a picture puzzle is not always easy.
No.
So it gets really difficult. And we're actually looking at extending ours off of St. George Street from the Colonial Quarter into a couple of other areas along St. George Street. So,
well, that's cool. I mean, we went to Beaufort this past year in 2024, and they actually have where they had it set up. It's all set up all the way down the street in different areas.
Yeah,
it makes people go to the different areas to see Beaufort, to see what's going on, instead of staying all in one area.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at. There's a couple of locations on St. George Street that we might be able to set some things up and do some things. So we're working on that. So by moving everything over a year away now, we have a little bit more time now to put some things in motion and to build our war chest up so we can pay for it, because it isn't cheap.
Well, then you got to, the other thing about the events is you got to take out the insurance.
Yeah, that was one of the things that killed us.
Yeah, that's
that changed greatly. So you came over here for the first pirate gathering, which was in 2008.
In the Fountain of Youth, yes.
Fountain of Youth, that was the first one, and I'll say this, it'll probably piss some people off, but it was the first one and the best one.
I agree. I've actually talked to people that were at that event and have been to other events over there for that, and they've always said the one at the Fountain of Youth was the best one ever.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Any thought about doing a anniversary pirate event down there in the Fountain of Youth?
Yes and no. You know how it is in the pirate world. Sometimes bridges get burned.
Yep.
And so it's one of the reasons why it never went back to the Fountain of Youth. Yeah. So you know how it is in the. It's just it happens when you're trying to build events. I mean, this would have been our 10th year, so it wasn't easy to make a decision to say no. But it was also in a position where I was trying to take care of more personal items and more things for me and my family, and I needed to step back for a bit. So you have to do that after a while.
Like our dad always said, sometimes it's wasted energy to try to make stuff happen when you know it's not going to turn out the way it needs to be.
Well, and that's one right there. That's a good one. I tell you, the other one is that, and this is a personal feeling, But when you're building an event, and I had written something to put online, and a couple of my crew said, "Don't put that out." And mostly it was just talking about how events work. But I really had this strong feeling that if you put out an event and it costs you thousands and thousands of dollars to do the event, and then at the end of the event, you turn around and can only give hundreds of dollars to your charity.
Wrong way of doing it.
It's back asswards. It's not the right way to, it's not, and yet people, and not just pirates, but other events, people will then brag about it. Oh, it was a successful event. Everybody had fun. Well, yeah, everybody may have had fun, but your purpose was for charity, not for fun. So your initial purpose wasn't reached properly. So you're spending all this money. It's why some businesses go out of business when
Right.
they're paying more than they're making. Your business isn't going to run right. So
Right.
when you're running a charity event and you're bragging about giving the money to charity, and your supporters come in and say, "Well, how much did it cost you to run this event?" And you tell them, and they go, "Wow, that's a lot. How much did you give to charity?" And they look at you like they're not interested in being a part of your event anymore. So now you're losing them because your reputation isn't good. So that was the other thing that we had. We were going to be putting out much more money than I think we were going to be bringing in this year.
And the other side of the coin is, because it just happened to me and on my crew here, was there's a big event here in Panama City held on the beach, and they want to do a big pirate thing this year. And they asked us if we could come and help them. I said, okay. But then we could come and help, but then they want to charge us to get into the event to help them out. Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not paying to get into your event to help you raise money for charity. I'll get in, give me a ticket and get in for free so I can help you do what you got to do and make the event better. But I'm not going to show up and have you charge me to get into your events and pay for everything I have to do, because that's not the way it should be.
Now, I'll give you a suggestion or a solution of how I've approached that in the past, where I've had pirate crews come and help us.
I don't need the reputation. I've already got it.
Yeah, that's it. But here's what I've done with some pirate crews. I said, look, we can't necessarily afford to give everything away. Let's say, like, it comes to like the dinners that we do.
Right.
If we're charging $50, $60 a person for the dinners, that's for the people outside. That's not for if I can give my crew a free meal, I will do it. But if the cost of that meal is $15, I may ask the crew to just pay the cost. They don't have to pay anything else. They'll pay the cost, but they'll get everything else with it. So they're helping in some way, shape, or form. And I've offered that to other people. Pay the cost and not pay the full ticket price, but pay the cost. And it's not just on dinners. I mean, we did find out that we're not charging a ticket price to come into Old City Pirate Festival anymore, and we're making just as much money.
There you go.
So there are ways around it to make it work, but the people that work it shouldn't be put in a position that it's their money that's making it a success. You're trying to get, that's one of the other things. I'm not building pirate festivals for pirates. I'm building pirate festivals for the outside world.
Well, you're building pirate festivals to support the charities that you support.
Right. Now, if pirates come and support me, I truly appreciate that. And when some pirates come to our events, and I'll give you, I won't give you names, but I have a couple pirates that are vendors at some of my events. I give them a break because they're pirates and they're adding atmosphere to my event, and I'll make them a different deal than I would make for somebody that's not a pirate.
Of course.
That's part of the parlay is to that way you're still getting something, but you're getting support, and money is important from the pirates.
Well,
But I don't want the Pirates to be.
A little support is better than no support at all.
Well, and you also, I don't want it to be in a tourist town like St. Augustine. We get much more involvement, attendance by the tourists, and not as much by the Pirates. But if the Pirates are there, that adds to it. So what do we have to make a deal with them to entice them to be a part of it.
Right.
So we were actually this year, we actually had worked out a potential deal with Ancient City Privateers, with the Seawolf Privateers, and once again we made another offer to reenactors, the Mena Menendez and the Garrison reenactors, to be a part of our event also. And bringing them in to be involved, it's important. Do I want them to work for free? No, I don't want any entertainers to work for free either. But if I can get entertainers to give me a break so that we can make more money for the charities, then I've done a good job that way.
Well,
So
a lot of entertainers will still get a tax break because they donate their time. But they still, in my opinion, they should still be compensated in some way or form, whether it's a free meal.
You're not allowed to deduct time anymore off your taxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You have basically so.
Boy, how things have changed.
Yeah, you can't. And so one of the ways that you get around that is that you pay a entertainer, and then he turns around and makes a donation back. So money is changed hands.
Right.
But one of the ways that I try to compensate over here, and you do it over in Panama City, is that you may not pay them for their work, but you do help them find places to stay. Now that changed a little bit from your event last year because everybody needed to do it on their own, and that's going to hurt me this year coming up because the people that we rented the condo for did not return our money.
See, that sucks.
Yeah, and I argued with him, and I said, well, we're not coming over there because of an act of God, because of a hurricane. We can't come over there because of the hurricane. We have to stay here and take care of things here. Well, we didn't have a hurricane here in Panama City. I said, yeah, that's true, but it's still the same reason. And it wasn't good enough. So I'm not happy with that.
Personally, I would put that person's name out in the pirate community so nobody comes over and rents from them again.
Well, I've considered doing that, and I may, because that was, I think that was a $1,700 payment. And now we got stipend back from it from Panama City, and we paid it, but I'm not going to get that money back next year from Panama City because I didn't pay it back to Panama City because we gave it to them and we didn't get it back. So right. I'm out the money. Panama City's out the money. The condo kept the money, but I don't expect that Panama City will help me out on that. So that's going to come out of my pocket this year.
Do you mind saying what condo it was, or do you know?
I don't remember the name, but I will. It's you know what? It's the same one, and I'll send you privately. It's the same one that we used a couple of times.
Lake Town Wharf.
Yeah. So I'll let you know exactly which it is. So there's no sense in putting it out here.
No, not at all. No.
I'll let you know because it's important that So we'll work it out.
Yeah,
I've got 9 months more to go.
Yeah. Well, this year's going to be even bigger than last year. So, I mean,
well, at our last meeting, a lot of the crew were saying how they would all like to come over. So I may end up bringing a bigger contingency over. We'll have to see.
Cool. Cool.
But we'll figure it out. So you do several events over there. Let's see. Imperative says it's unfortunate some renters here are that bloodthirsty for the dollar. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, and because it was such a great weekend, I'll tell you what I think happened. I think they went ahead and rented it out somewhere else too.
Of course they did.
So they got double money for it. That's what I think happened. I can't prove it, but so it's just it's one of the negative sides to doing out of town events.
Yes.
Okay, I just was looking. I just got a message from somebody about something I was asking about, and the answer was no. Okay, no worries. So it is what it is. So you, what are the major charities that you work with over there?
Anything with the special needs community. We do Toys for Kids Foundation. I've been a member of that for 20-something years. Michelle, since we've been married, has been a member of that. We hold the biggest golf tournament in town. We hold the biggest Halloween event in town. We hold the biggest Christmas ball ever. Then we do anything to deal with the special needs kids, whether it be Night to Shine, Miracle League ball teams, which is all special needs kids playing ball, and veterans. Veterans are real close to our heart because of Dad. And so we work with one of the veterans hospitals here, senior citizens hospitals for the veterans, and supply them with whether it's clothes, blankets, food, snacks, whatever we can do for them. We were able to set up our float, not this year, but last year, I think it was. And I keep looking over at Michelle to make sure I'm right. We not only collected a full truckload of supplies, which was socks, blankets, clothes, and snacks. The biggest thing they want at the nursing homes for these people are snacks. They love Little Debbie cakes. They love all kinds of snacks like that. Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, I love them too. I'm not a veteran, but I love them. And so we not only provided a full truckload of supplies, but we were able to give them a check for $2,000 to go buy supplies for whatever else they needed. So between the special needs kids, the Toys for Kids Foundation in Panama City, and the veterans, that's my main goal with my crew.
Very cool. Yeah,
we work with the end of this. There's a school here called Margaret K. Lewis, which is a special needs school. They do a end of the year school party at the restaurant right across the street from here, called the end of the year school party for the special needs. And they show up with 4 bus loads of special needs kids. And we go over and pirate and party with them for a day as they celebrate the end of their school year. So it's all about giving back to the people that need it more than I need it.
That's why we work with teachers and school students over here. Believe it or not, I'm doing a reading program sometime this month. I don't remember the date of it. We're also going to, the crew doesn't know this yet, but there's an oyster roast next Friday over on the Matanzas Bay. And I'm going to go, it's on a Friday, I'm going to go, and they're trying to raise money for the boat that they used. There's an organization here at the River Keepers that do trash pickup through the Matanzas Bay.
Cool.
And they're trying to get a new boat, so they're having a big all-you-can-eat oyster roast.
Oh man,
I can eat some damn oysters.
Are they gonna be raw or are they gonna be roasted?
Well, I suspect, knowing who's putting it on, that they'll probably be both. So I plan on going over there and spending the 2 hours that they're there. And Dewey Villa is the musician over there for the night. So Dewey Villa, he's a favorite over here.
Okay.
I've been friends with, Michelle probably knows who Dewey is. I've been friends with Dewey since the summer of 2007 because we worked together at the Jester's Court back in the day. So he's there. So I'm going to go over, and I'm going to see if any of the crew want to go over with me and see what we can do about giving them a little extra money from the swashbucklers. So
very cool.
It's always about working for the charities in our side that do things for the community, like teachers,
right,
fire department, kids with needs, the animals, animal shelters. It's important. So we try to do what we can. I think.
Is that Gonzo? Who's that?
That's
That's
Dewey.
Dewey. That's Dewey Villa right there. Good
Okay.
job, baby. Quick on that one.
Sorry,
Um,
I've only got one. I only got half of one eye, so it,
so it's I'm going to go over, and I hope a couple of my crew will go over with me, and we'll
Very
figure
cool.
it out. But we get
Um,
we make it. You know, it's like our event we did this past Saturday on St. George Street 2 Saturdays ago. We called it a goodwill tour. Yes, could I get a? Hold on, I'm trying to get something here. So we did a goodwill tour of St. George Street. Can you come down here, please? Then the goodwill tour of St. George Street it was the weekend we were going to do our event, but since we didn't do the event, most of the crew were off anyway. We went down St. George Street, and we went to all the different places. Could you bring me another one of those?
What is it?
The drink out of the refrigerator. So we went down and talked to all the different businesses that would support us or had supported us. Even picked up a few new businesses. There's a honey company on St. George Street now that in a month or two is going to have a mead bar in it.
oh, sweet.
And they have 13 locations around the southeast of the United States. So they were very interested in helping us out. So, and there was a brand new beef jerky shop. And I know that the crew that went in there and spent money, I'm pretty sure that the different crew members that went in there and spent money, we probably spent over $800 amongst the crew buying beef jerky.
Well, beef jerky ain't cheap either.
What's that?
Beef jerky ain't cheap.
No. So, I mean, the whole point was we would give back to those people that supported us, and that's what it was for. And we had such a good time. We're now going to do several of them. There's one of us. There's one of all the crew standing around the City Gates distillery there.
Spent a lot of time in there.
Yeah, we did spend a lot of time in there. We had a good time in there, and the beef jerky shop and Augie's.
Isn't City Gates the one that has that? Is it orange rum?
They have a daddle pepper whiskey.
Oh, I need to try some of that.
They, well, if you were going to be here tonight, we'd be sitting here drinking it.
Yep.
We just decided that was the best way to, and we spent almost 5 hours downtown taking pictures and showing off, and so I think we're going to do it again, and I think we're going to try to do it again in April and or June and or August. So we're going to try to do it on a regular basis.
Well, I'm going to give kudos out to my wife, Michelle, who is a manager at a very nice restaurant at Pier Park that has a band that comes out there. Michelle, what's the name of the band?
Dr. Frank's band?
Yes, Dr. Frank, but his band is called Drive By. And he hit up Michelle about doing these events, and they just did one this past weekend. We couldn't go to it because we had stuff going on. But they want to get involved in the community doing these little concerts to raise money for different charities, and wants to partner up with the Pirates of the White Sands to be a part of that. So
cool.
You know, we got a lot going on, and it's again, like you and I both said, it's all about giving back to the community.
Willie signing off. So you go ahead and give Lauren a big hug. Of course, she's a little sick tonight. She's pregnant. So you give her some soup and give her some love, and we'll talk to you all later on.
Love you, Will.
So we'll talk to you later. Goodbye, Will, the historian. So yeah, it is about giving back to the community, but I'm trying to find ways now that it's not a major ordeal. It's one of the reasons why we keep the Celtic Festival, because we don't have to set it up. We just have to show up and be a part of it.
And that makes a big difference, whether you have to set the event up or whether you have to be just a part of it.
And you know my health issues over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've got to stop.
Really?
Yeah, I know. You got to start stepping back. We're not getting younger.
No.
And
well, here's something that as over the last couple of years, and I don't know if you remember, but as we grew up and Dad was in the military, we always had his troops at our house Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep.
And I grew to hate it because to me, it took away from our family time. But oh my God, what do I do on the holidays? I invite the military and people to my house because they have no place to go. I am becoming our dad.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's you may hate it growing up as a kid, but as you grow older and your mind changes, you begin to learn that's what it's all about. And so, you know, my house is always open. Military, whoever, you got no place to go, you want to just come hang out. You want to get involved with us to go help a charity out because you got nothing else to do, come join us, have a good time. It's all about giving back. And as we heard this past yesterday, it's all about the joy that you can produce and make.
Yeah, and the crew helped a couple of years ago. This was before COVID. We worked a couple of years where we did some dinners on Thanksgiving down on the grass area in front of O'Malley's for all the homeless people. And one of the years it got moved to a church, and we spearheaded that, myself and the Swashbucklers. But when we started stepping back, nobody else would keep going with it. It was disappointing. So they've not done it in years.
Well,
so
we had the same thing happen. If you're familiar with Night to Shine,
yeah,
it's the Tim Tebow Foundation for the special needs community. After Hurricane Michael, there was a threat that Night to Shine would not happen. So Pirates of the White Sands stepped up and did all the food, got the location. We did everything for Night to Shine and made Night to Shine happen for the special needs community here in Panama City. We got asked to be there one other time after that.
Well, that's because they changed affiliate churches.
And then they changed the churches that they go to. And that church has no desire, because we showed up at their event for Night to Shine in Pirate because we were asked to be there in Pirate. And they have no desire to have us to be part of it. So I say that, and if you're going to be helping the community out and helping charities out, whether they show up in Pirate, whether they show up in this, it's gather everybody together and get the support you need to make the event happen.
Yeah, it depends on who's running the event. That's what it boils down to.
Yes, it does.
It really does. Parlay 8 says Polar Plunge is a fun one for our crew. It's cold, but we love being out there supporting the people. So your parlay popsicles when you do that. We adopt a soldier or two to eat dinner with us at any holiday event we do.
Very cool, Bob.
Yeah. So
yeah, we do a polar plunge down here, but it's in the middle of summer when the water's warm. We just take a cold drink with us in the water.
Hey, I'm all for that.
That's the only pool.
And it's easy for me because all I have to do is walk across the street and I'm on the beach.
Yep. Yeah. In December, I hosted a whole National Guard unit for their holiday meal. Very
awesome.
Cool. Show off. That's right, Bo. Tell her. Hi. That's right. Well, showing off. That's all it is. But yeah, the purpose is good. But some people will step in and say, well, we'll do it our way, and their way has ulterior motives. And
yes, it's well, for those people that step in and we'll do it our way. In my opinion, it's all about them, not about the event.
Right. So and that's yeah.
I can't see what she says.
Yeah, it says that they were talking about you for the polar plunge.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you, a cold beer and a cold margarita and a nice warm Gulf of Mexico is awesome. That's a great plunge.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes to events, there are some great events, and it really boils down to, one, what's the purpose of the event, and two, who's running the event. And there are some really great ones, but a lot of people, and this is one of the reasons I was going to write this big long diatribe and post when we canceled our event, because we got some pushback from people outside of our crew, not my crew. My entire crew was in supportive of this. It was 100% unanimous decision to do what we're doing. And that's really what matters, is to make sure the crew is behind you. But we got some pushback from some other people. And one of the things I wanted to put out there was, and you said it earlier, if the purpose of your event is not accomplished at the end of your event, then you haven't done a right event.
Sure.
And
well, where's your heart at when you want to do these events? Is your heart at making money for yourself, or is your heart at helping the charity that you're for?
Well, and I told a couple of people we would go in the hole on this event this year, and they said, so it's all about the money. I said, yeah, because if we went in the hole, then there'd be no money for the charity at all, which means that it's not a successful event. It still boils down to that we're doing it for the charity. So if I have to go in the hole for the event, that means that all the money that we raise at the event pays the expenses of the event. There's nothing to give to charity. Then we're not a successful event. Even if we broke even,
You okay?
it's not a successful event because we didn't give any money to charity.
Well, if you do an event for charity and you don't give any money for the charity, then that's not a successful event.
And that's where we stood with this year. This was our 10th year.
Yes.
I didn't want to say no to my 10th year, but we had no choice. We had to make a decision based on reputation, finances, and intelligence. So we did it.
Well, you're not gonna, what's that saying? You're not going to make everybody happy all the time.
Yeah,
but you got to make yourself happy as a crew to do exactly what you're supposed to be doing and making sure what you're doing is right.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's a big difference between right and wrong.
Yeah, it was P.T. Barnum that says you can't make all the people happy all the time. So, but as long as my crew, 49 members of my crew, was 100% behind the idea, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
So, and there are some vendors. The water temperature of Virginia Beach was 38. You can keep it.
Yeah. Oh, hell no.
Yeah. There are a couple of vendors.
Was here for 6 days.
There are a couple of vendors that were very supportive of the decision, and because they're supportive of the decision, I'll be making special deals with them, because if they're going to support me when I can't do it, but they will support me when I can do it, I got to do something for them too.
Of course.
So I will, and that's basically what it boils down to. So
good.
What we're doing right now is we're looking at all events that happen in the April-May timeframe, not just in this area, but over the entire state, all the way up the coast, because I don't want to do an event. I don't want to do an event on top of anybody else's if I can help it. I mean, we have to still, give consideration to our area first. But
sure.
I don't want to do an event on top of another event, but I do want to try to slip our event into one where if some of the vendors have an opportunity that they can do one event there and one event here and our event here and another event here, they can put us on the circuit, so to speak. They'll make more money and we'll get more and better vendors. So
right.
That's one of the other things we're looking at for the April and May timeframe. I also believe that having our event in the April-May timeframe makes it a better event for your event and my event to cross promote, because they're then almost about 6 months apart either way of either direction of the calendar.
And the only events that I know of happening in that time frame are GARF, Georgia Area Renaissance Festival.
Yes.
There are some other Ren fairs that happen, but that's the only one that I think
that would be a conflict.
I have a bunch of Parlay 8. You got to
so Parlay 8. Do me a favor, because I'm
looking so I can read it.
Yeah, I have a page and a half of events. If you could maybe just send that list to me. I mean, for example, Georgia Renaissance Festival runs for how many weeks?
6 or 8.
8 weeks.
4, 5,
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Yeah.
So if I did my event on one of those weekends, I'm still not being disrespectful to them because they still have 7 more weeks to do things.
Right.
And
The
a lot of
one
people aren't going to come to my event anyway. That
Well,
go to
the
that.
one that you would not want to do your event at would be the weekend they do Pirate Weekend.
Yeah. So I wouldn't do it the weekend they do Pirate Weekend.
No.
But the rest of the time, I mean, when you start having these groups, these festivals start doing 6 and 8 weeks, there's not any way that you can't, you won't be able to not overlap, so to speak.
Well,
So you just have to pick the way to do it.
But you also realize in the state of Florida, there's going to be events happening throughout the state almost every weekend.
Oh yeah, you can't swing a dead cat around.
Labor Day, Memorial Day, all the way down through the year.
I mean, because we were even looking. I mean, in this area, there's a strawberry festival, there's a blueberry festival, there's a sauerkraut festival. There's all these festivals. None of them are pirate.
Right. Hell, we have Goat Day up here.
What's that?
We have Goat Day up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got Goat Day, you got Mule Day, and the people that would go to those events because those support that local charity are not going to go to a pirate event.
No, they may not come to our event.
Right.
The percentage of people. So it really is. So in making the list that I've been making, I've been putting the pirate festivals on there first, then the Ren festivals, and then checking to see if they do a pirate. Because also, my friend over in Louisiana does his pirate festival now in April.
Pontchartrain.
Yes, Pirates of Pontchartrain. He does it in April. Now, the first year he did it for 2 weekends, but he's toned it back to 1 weekend. And I just have to be careful to not infringe on him either, because a lot of the pirates do go over for that one.
Right.
So it's the same as NOLA. You know, NOLA's got a big event next weekend, I think it is. No, yeah, the weekend after, somewhere, the 16th through the 21st.
Yeah.
I can't go. I'd love to, but I can't because I've got to do all the tours that we have here. So trying to slip into a new time frame, and we don't. When we talked about it, and it would be the same thing over in Panama City, we don't want to do an event in June, July, or August.
It's too fucking hot.
Yes, too hot.
And I've been on the beach out here in the white sand in full pirate garb, selling raffle tickets, sweating my arse off.
Yeah, it's just it's too hot. So we've eliminated June, although there is a possibility of the first weekend in June, but it's hot in May too. So, and in fact, I am working on, believe it or not, this is very tentative, so I won't give any details, but I am working on a possible pirate music festival, either a 1 or a 2 night event in St. Augustine in June.
Very cool.
So we're seeing what we can do on that. It may include the Colonial Oak.
Okay. Well, we have believe it's the sister ship to y'all's boat over there, the pirate ship over there. Our pirate ship over here. And they did a adults only pirate night that was sold out within a matter of minutes.
Who did that? You guys?
The Sea Dragon out here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And
you're talking about the
very similar to Raven. And so I'm actually going to them to try to get Pirates of the White Sands involved in doing one of theirs and take the money that we make off of that and give it to a charity.
Yeah. So it's as much as the Black Raven is not as open to doing things like that, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Well, I will have to say, we had a family that came here in town that they had a special needs son. Autistic. Very, very, very autistic. Nonverbal or anything like that. And he loves pirates. And we got contacted. So we not only made him a pirate hat, but we got him a red shirt with our logo on it. So he had a crew shirt. We got him a pirate name. I actually was standing in my driveway, and we went out and had a great time. And I was standing in my driveway a few weeks ago, and this lady came up to me and she yells, "Captain!" Of course, I'm blind as a bat. I can't see anything right now. She goes, "You know who this is?" I said, "No, but I recognize the voice." And she came up to me and she goes, "You had my grandson on the boat and gave him pirate names." She said, "We can't get that pirate hat off of him. We can't get the pirate shirt off of him. He wears it every day." That's what, as pirates for my crew and pirates of your crew and pirates around around should be doing is what we should be doing for that stuff.
Yeah, that's the purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get people that come to the Pirate Museum, and every year they want to stand in the same exact pose.
Oh yeah.
I just had somebody visit me at the Pirate Museum that came to the Pirate Museum 10 years ago. And the museum's been there. I just started my 15th year with them. So,
Yep.
so we're getting ready to, believe it or not, we're trying to do a figuring of how many tours I've done. And I'm fast approaching the 10,000 tour mark. 10,000 tours in the Pirate Museum. So we'll see where that goes.
So let me ask you this. I've always wondered, because we're both doing it now. We grew up in the military. We moved away. We're both from St. Augustine. You came back to St. Augustine. What made you want to do the first pirate event in the Fountain of Youth? Yeah.
So you may not know this.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to do Civil War because the great-great-grandfather was Robert E. Lee.
Right. So when we were getting ready to come back here, so here's how I tell the story. So we came back to St. Augustine in 2004 for a family reunion. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was yes.
Okay. And Aunt Pat was still alive.
Yep.
And at that reunion, and we stayed at Aunt Pat's house.
Yes.
And at that reunion, well, Kara fell in love with St. Augustine.
It's beautiful.
So on the way home, we talked about, she said, we could move there. I said, okay. So it would take us a little bit of time to get set up. And one of the things that I wanted to do when we came back here was I wanted to open a magic dinner theater. And Aunt Pat was on board with it. And, she was big into the food side of everything. So
I came over and helped build stuff for it.
What's that?
I came over and helped build stuff for it.
Yeah. So, well, we were going to do something different. What you came over for was when it didn't work out. And one of the reasons it didn't work out is because Aunt Pat passed away before we got here. So, I ended up going down to Jester's Court. That's where you helped me build a few things because I was doing magic down there. Yeah. It didn't really go that well.
No.
And so a couple of other people that I knew said, well, you should dress up as a pirate. And I went in and hung out at the old Taberna doing card tricks. And then I hung out at O'Malley's doing card tricks and kind of making my way as a pirate. And then I fell in league with Lee Palace.
Yep.
Remember him?
Yep.
He passed away a couple of years ago.
Yes, he did.
And a couple of the others, and got involved. And there was Lee and myself and Sylvia.
Yep.
And there were a couple of others. There were about 7 or 8 of us. And then we started bringing in other people that wanted to be pirates. And we thought, yeah, you know what? Because I had wanted to maybe do a Renaissance festival here, but it switched over to doing Renaissance to a pirate festival, and that's how we did the Pirate Gathering in 2008.
Was Joe Osteen part of that?
He was.
Yep.
He was part of it. And so we did the first one, and there was some fallout from the first one. and I moved on to doing some of my own stuff. The Black Raven was one of them. And then Pat Croce puts the word out that I'm to be hired for the Pirate Museum, and I start working in the Pirate Museum in January of 2011. They opened in 2010. So the whole thing started the whole idea for Pirate Gathering started in 2007.
Very cool.
And we worked really hard on it, and it was a success. And it really could have been an ongoing success, but
had not people taken it over,
egos got in the way.
And moved it.
Yeah, well, that was part of it too. It got moved because I'm trying to be very careful about how much I say, because I don't want to really speak ill of anybody anymore.
Yeah.
After a few things that have happened over the past couple of weeks with my health, and the fact that I'm getting older and I'm just getting really tired about people not paying attention to the words that are actually said and not what they hear the words to be, it just bothers me. So I don't worry about it anymore. I'm disappointed that the Pirate Gathering couldn't go any further than it did 1 year. And every year that they tried, and what really drove it into the ground was the last year that they had it. They brought outside people in to run it, and it didn't fare well. And it didn't fare well because of one rule that I do, which I know you do over there. Whatever I need for my event, I like to keep local money local.
Yes.
Yes, but
I don't like to hire anybody outside. Now, entertainers is one thing, okay? Entertainers is one thing, but food and sound and stage and whatever else you need to run an event, you should always try to run your event by using the people that are in the community, keeping the community local.
Of course.
And that didn't happen on the last one.
Yeah.
And it caused some ill feelings there. And when you start doing things like that, support gets lost. So
yeah,
it is what it is. The Pirate Gathering, and my son was there too. He's not online.
Oh yeah. It was because I actually got a period tent and came over that because I had made a very cheesy Captain Hook costume for the store I work for, and was pictured running over the bridge that goes from Panama City Beach to Panama City in that costume. And then I became the school mascot for my kids' elementary school. I was the Parker Pirate for the whole school. And then when you did that event and we're moving back to St. Augustine, I'm like, you know what? This would be really cool. And that's when I got my first pirate garb. It was in St. Augustine, and just fell in love with it, And I brought the period over and stuff. And
that's the event. That's the weekend that you actually got your pirate name too.
Because I asked you had William Mayhem. William is your real name, and I was like, I really want to use part of my real name as my pirate name. And we looked at something. My middle name is actually King. Yes, my middle name is King. I am royalty in my own mind. You keep it up. Davey, you're not saying anything over there, brother. So
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Michelle's
the other side of
yeah.
There's another country heard from, as Dad would say.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And so we could not find anything that came up with King's Ransom. You came up with all you said, all we can find is King's Ransom. I said, well, why don't we flip-flop it? Ransom King. And that's how I came up with my pirate name, Ransom.
Well, here's the other part of the story. The other part of the story is, and I just never wrote it all out, the other part of the story was that we were pirate brothers, and that I would take care of the negotiations of everything, and you would take care of collecting the ransom on everything. That's how we came up with your name.
Yeah. And I actually have Ransom on one arm and Mayhem on the other. So if I'm grabbing a winch by this arm right here where it has Mayhem, I'm causing mayhem. If I'm clabbering to this arm, you got to pay ransom to get them back.
So, and then we just and my son was there. So there's a picture of the three of us, and I tried to find it today. I don't know where the hell it is, but I tried to find it. There's a picture of all three of us standing at the Fountain of Youth,
Yes, exactly right.
and I'm not sure it's in my file somewhere. But
I've
yeah,
lost so many computers. I have no idea where it's at, but I had it.
we had a really good. It was a good event, and it had the
Yes.
potential. But like many events, Pirate, Ren, steampunk. I've only done one steampunk, and I swore I would never do another steampunk event again. But when you get so many different people involved,
100%, you're correct. Somewhere in
certain things happen.
Well, here's the other issue about that is when you do a pirate event, a lot of us like to dress in period correct or real garb.
Or close to it, because in the law,
You're never going to be accurate.
Absolutely. So go ahead, continue
But
on.
you get a lot of people that show up in these Halloween costumes and think they can act any way they want. That's not what we portray when we do this. You can't act any way you want when you're doing this. So it puts a faux pas on.
Well, it's one of the reasons that I and my crew have stepped away from doing events that are more adult than they are family. We prefer to do events that are more family.
I agree.
And more inclusive, because the ones that are more adult, and I'm not opposed to them. I've attended some of them before, and I'll say it right here. This is public acknowledgement. I'm not opposed to them. There is a time and a place for everything. But
Yes.
I want the reputation of my crew and my name and my swashbucklers and this podcast to be more related to things that are family related. The charities that we do.
Well, like in Panama City, I've been working on Pirates of the White Sands since when I got back from 2008 Pirate Gathering. I started working on my crew. So my crew formed in 2008. The charities that I work with, the special needs, the veterans, and all that, started in 2008. My name is well known, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying my name is well known in Panama City and Panama City Beach. I don't need anybody to screw my name up or screw up my crew for what we do.
Well, and the real hazard of it is that people that are not within the pirate community think that we're all just one big, gigantic, happy family. And that's not true. And there are people within the pirate community that will rock the boat. There's a really great cartoon, and it shows a ship, and the ship is falling apart. And while you've got some people bailing water, you've got other people drilling holes.
Yeah.
And the best part about my crew is that I have a crew of 49 people that see things the way I see things and understand the reputation of what we do is important. And there are some things that I'll say, hey, we're going to do this. For example, I was going to put out this letter about the Old City Pirate Festival being canceled. There were some points in it that I probably didn't need to make, and several of my crew said, if you're trying to make a positive letter, you probably don't want to say these things. So I looked at it and I changed it, and then after I changed it, the real venom or the real point of my letter didn't make any sense anymore. It didn't have the punch I wanted. So I didn't post it at all, because maybe writing it was just good enough for me to get it out of my system.
Yeah, sometimes writing it out is good for you to get out of the system. You don't have to post it because you've already got it out of your system.
Yeah, but sometimes, here's the other side of the coin. This is why I told one of the crew. If we don't say things about the people that are doing things that hurt things, we're just kicking the can down the road, so to speak. We're not doing anything to keep it from happening again and again and again. And really, That's not just in the pirate community. That's in the world around us
It's
right
life.
now.
It's called life.
I mean, you know, this is one of the reasons why we have a new segment in the show called A Shot Across the Bow, where I usually will talk about something like this. In fact, I will tonight. But if you look at the overall climate of the world, everybody that's pointing fingers at all the crap that they don't like going on right now in our leadership of our country is the same things that their leadership was doing. It just becomes a big finger pointing thing. And when people, if and when people will stop doing that and taking advantage of others, and not just the pirate community, the Ren Fair, steampunk, it's all the same. It really
Just
is.
people in general.
It is people in general. And a lot of people, they don't hear certain things, or they hear it the way they want to hear it, or they don't catch the entire. It's one of the, here's an example. It's one of the reasons why I really tell all of our tours, they're not allowed to take videos of any of our tours anymore.
No, I'm on vacation.
We don't allow videos of our tours in the Pirate Museum.
I'm at home.
Or I don't. And the biggest reason is because we're talking about history.
Me for a month.
And in that history, we're talking about also possible politics, which is more civics than politics. And we're talking about religion, because some of St. Augustine's start is based on religious differences, the Catholics and the Protestants.
Right.
So when you start talking about history,
Yeah.
religion, and politics, people get pissy about it.
Like,
And they don't want to hear certain things.
Maybe you can stand on a
So
mattress.
we've removed certain things
Literally, it's crass.
as far as the advantage of
Does
doing, having a video, because a 7-second clip of video taken completely out of context is what people use now to destroy other people.
Call me if you need me.
So we kind of.
Bye.
So is Michelle talking to somebody in the background?
Yep.
Okay. Tell her we
I'm
can
told her
hear.
to hush.
Tell her we can hear her conversation. A lot of that going around tonight. So,
Yep.
Oh,
I'm not disappointed about doing everything I do. I am
No.
disappointed about some of the relationships that I've had that have fallen by the wayside.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I'm not disappointed.
But I keep telling myself I've been doing this since the summer of 2007. That's 18 years. And I'm still going in the same direction, and I'm still successfully doing everything that we do. And so we're in good shape. So
Well, here's the other side of that coin. If you have a great relationship with somebody and they want to screw you over, you never had a great relationship to begin with.
yeah, that's probably true. You're probably right on that one.
Oh, I know it per
You-
fact right here in our band.
I will tell you this: you have an advantage that I'm envious of when you do your event over there. I'll say this:
What's that?
you have the support and the machinery through the tourist development. Is that what it is?
TDC, Tourist Development Company.
Yeah, you have their,
And both Mardi Gras crews over here.
yeah. So you have all that support over there. The
Actually,
city of
Bill,
St.
with
Augustine.
our event here, what we have is the privilege of actually partnering with the TDC. Most
Yeah,
of it.
see,
I
we
mean,
don't-
it's their pocket that does it. It's our backs that make it happen.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't have that advantage here.
That was my wife.
It's all on us. It's all on us. It's all on me. We don't
And
have
which
that
makes it
advantage.
even harder.
It makes it triply hard.
Yes.
We don't have that advantage.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we don't have that advantage is because of the frictions that are caused or have been caused by pirate and reenactment crews over here.
Is there not a tourist development company
There
over
is.
there?
There is, but they don't want to get involved in it.
I see.
And I believe, I don't know it for a fact, but I believe, and I agree to a point. When I first started doing pirating here in St. Augustine, the oldest city in the nation, the reenactors were 110% against any pirates being here. And I
Right.
understood why. I mean, we don't want to take the oldest city in the nation and Disneyfy it by pirates wearing Party City pirates and drinking rum because they think that's what pirates did, and drinking rum to excess. we don't want to ruin the ambiance of the oldest city in the nation.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be ruined if it's done in the right way. But
Of
the
course.
frictions that have been caused keep that from happening. And so the powers that be that could actually step in and be a part of things. That's why we're part of this Celtic Festival for all these years.
And we're hoping to come over for Celtic.
And they support us in everything we do, and we support them. And so the St. Augustine Swashbucklers are the go-to pirate crew for the St. Augustine Celtic Festival.
Good.
And there's
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Davey, you're so quiet.
He's always quiet because he's got to concentrate on doing all the things that make us look good.
First, he's trying to get a word.
Yeah, he just sits there.
Yeah, Michelle says he's trying to get a word in between two mayhems.
Yeah, well, that's probably a problem too. That's probably a problem. So yeah, it is. You know, this is a good event or a good night, a good show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It gives us a chance. It gives everybody else a chance to see that not only do we do things together, but we do things separate.
And I believe we're really the only two real brother pirates in the community.
Maybe. I don't know.
I know we're the only two brothers in the order.
I know that we're the only two brothers in the order right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been watching as much of the order as I might probably should. I believe it's more important to take care of things on my home front before I take care of things further out.
Health and self come first.
And it also depends on, the support that comes back too.
Yep.
So I'm all for supporting anybody and everybody. I mean, and I'll throw this out. This is meant as a compliment and an addition, but the relationship that we started with Parlay 8, where they've been on our show and we've been on their show. I did it I reached out on purpose because they have a following, we have a following, and I'm hoping that their following comes to us and our following goes to them, and it just makes both of us bigger. And we're in separate parts of the country. We do separate, different kinds of podcasts. And I believe by joining forces, the same reason that we talked with Captain Smoo in Quebec, Canada, and now part of the international pirate community. I don't want to be all for every pirate. I don't want the show to be that way. In fact, we don't make this show primarily pirate. It's got a pirate name. We have 3 segments in the show that are all about history. But the rest of the show is about community and working with other groups and doing other events and whatever else we can do. So our show, it's kind of like watching television. You watch certain shows because you like this and you like this and you like this, but you're never going to see a show, any kind of a show, that gives you everything. It's like your pirate event. It's like my pirate event. Your pirate event will continue to build, but will it have everything for all people?
No, you're never going to have everything for all people.
And that's the thing. I just enjoy doing this and bringing people in, and I really enjoy having like this kind of a conversation. You said you wanted to, and this made me think because you told me this earlier. So if you didn't tell Michelle and I say this and you get in trouble, it's on you, not me. But you say you want to.
I'm old. I have problems.
Yeah, well, you can also say that you're old and you forgot you told me this. But you said if you come over for the Celtic Festival, you want to stay at least until Tuesday, which means on the Monday after the Celtic Festival, you can be here.
Yes, I told Michelle that.
Okay, so we could do what we were going to do, but here's the thought I have. I will, in turn, you've watched me do a show on the poker table, right?
Oh, yeah, several times.
I will invite a couple of other pirates, captains, if I can, and or quartermasters to come sit at the table, and we'll have a round table of pirates.
Sounds like a plan to me.
That's the plan for the show. Davey, that's the plan I have for the show after the Celtic Festival.
I may have to send Michelle home and Uber back to Panama City, but I will make it try and happen.
Well,
I can't drive, folks. I'm legally blind.
yeah. So see if you can make that happen. And I think it would be a really good show. And there's a couple of captains that I think I could bring in to sit at the table with us. And at least 2 I think I could bring in.
All right.
And that would give us 4, and maybe they're quartermasters, and that would give us at least 8 people sitting at the table talking about pirates and what we do.
Very cool.
And so that's my plan. So since you've told me that over the last day or 2,
yep,
I've already started working on that. So
all
we'll
right.
see.
Let me
So
see
that
what I
would
can
be
do.
that would be the 10th of March, I believe.
Yes.
So it would, and that's what our show would be that night. Would be pirate captains from Florida.
All right.
And I believe I could bring in one from Flagler, and then I could bring in one other one from St. Augustine.
Well, what I may do, if I can't get Michelle to get off work because that's a busy time for her, I may just get one of my crew members to come over with me.
Well, do that, and let's see what we can do. But let me know as soon as you can if that's going to happen or not happen.
All right.
And let's make that plan, because I think it would be a good show.
I think so too.
And
all right, Davey, take it away, buddy.
Yeah. So, Davey, I think we've reached a point that we should go and do This Week in History.
Okay.
And it's sponsored.
Where does a captain take his hungry crew for a good lunch special? Why, Dick's Wings. Daily lunch specials even a pirate could afford. Why, look, a table filled with flavors and tastes for even the most discriminating of pirates. A great lunch and a great time is always had by all at Dick's Wings, St. Augustine, Florida, US 1 South.
We begin this week in history in the year 1768. Samuel Adams' letter circulates around American colonies opposing Townshend Act taxes. 1777, U.S. Congress commissions Benjamin Lincoln a major general in the Continental Army. 1803, Chief Justice John Marshall declares that any act of U.S. Congress that conflicts with the Constitution is void. 1849, in New York City, James Knox Polk becomes first serving U.S. president to have his photograph taken by Matthew Brady. 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt signs bill into law establishing U.S. Department of Commerce and Labor. 1916, biggest oil well gusher ever, Edward L. Dohany's Cerro Azul No. 4, first gushes 600 feet in the air near Tampico, Mexico. 1923, Howard Carter opens the inner burial chamber of Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb and finds the sarcophagus. 1929, St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago. 7 gangsters are killed, allegedly on Al Capone's orders. 1931, the original Dracula film starring Bela Lugosi as the titular vampire is released. 1940, first Tom and Jerry cartoon, Puss Gets the Boot, created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, is released to theaters by MGM. 1942, Glenn Miller and his orchestra awarded the first ever gold record for selling 1 million copies of Chattanooga Choo Choo. 1943, wartime propaganda poster We Can Do It, produced by J. Howard Miller and posted on the walls of Westinghouse Electric and manufacturing companies' plants in the Midwest. And finally, in 1968, American two-time world champion Peggy Fleming comfortably wins Olympic women's figure skating gold medal at the Grenoble Winter Games. And that was This Week in History.
Very good, Davey. Very good. And a shot across the bow. I didn't write anything for this one. What I wanted to do was put out something with ideas and thoughts. I'm getting some messages here, but let's go with a shot across the bow. Very simple. There is so much going on in the leadership of everything in our world today that people are only hearing what they want to hear. They're only taking from a conversation what they think they heard and maybe not what they actually heard. It happens all the time when people start talking about the things of history, how the United States of America is terrible because of all the slavery problems. I can sit for an hour and talk to you on that stuff and tell you things of factual information that would give you the idea that some people just are only spouting what's important to them. So in everything that's going on, and I saw somebody post on Facebook today about a certain situation on money spending. And I tried very hard not to use, when it comes to politics, we tried not to make the show too political. I have a feeling that down the road, I may get more political, but we'll see. I don't want to, but I really get tired of seeing people that I admire and respect say things that are just not true. But then in the same breath that they say things are not true, are chastising the other people. Basically, the bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. We're all entitled to our voice, our words, our thoughts, and our opinions. And if you can't respect somebody else for their words, their thoughts, their ideas, and their opinions, then you've missed out the entire purpose of everything that's happening in this country. There are a lot of things going on that I'm not happy with right now. But there are a lot of things that are going on that I'm extremely happy about. But if you want to split hairs on certain things to make your side feel more right, okay, but you're just disrespecting and distancing yourself from other people. Mind what you say, how you say it, but listen to everything else. The reason we have, and this is the final part, we have 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's so you can watch and listen twice as much as you speak. I've had many times in the past 18 years that I've had pirates say certain things about Captain Mayhem, that I've said this or I've done this, but they did not come to me and talk to me. They did not listen twice as much as they spoke. They jumped out and started speaking without listening. We must listen first. I just see Captain Smoo jumped on board. Hello, Smoo, up in
There's Smoo.
Hi, and you caught us here. They're every one of us watching. Thank you, Apparatus, for 100% agreeable on that. I try not to point any fingers anymore. I'm just getting too old to worry about it. And the other part, some people need to understand. In order to have grown older and wiser, we have had to have been dumb and stupid. And I did that time in the military. Was I dumb? Was I stupid? No. But, hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, everybody needs to take a breather right now. Everybody. Jim, I have to laugh when people talk about how bad slavery is while watching televisions made in China, wearing clothing made in Vietnam, and while snacking on shrimp grown in Taiwan. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. Talk about slave. The word slave comes from the Slavic word, and Slavic were white. some of the original slavery. Genghis Khan, American Indians, if we're going to go this route real quick, and African tribes. When these groups of people would take over another group of people and win, the natural progression was that the people that lost became slaves in all of the countries of the world. So there you have it. And we'll leave it at that for now. Be mindful of what you say and what you do, and work it out from there. On that note, Davey, believe it or not, I just got a message from Nicole.
I feel like in the Brady Bunch where everything's in a square and you got to look up to see Davey in the square.
Yeah. Well, at least he's not Marcia. I'm not sure which square Davey's in, but yeah. Anyway, hey, after that, guests on deck. Well, as you heard, we talked about some guests in March. I'm working on a couple of other guests. We have not set anything in stone because I've been taking care of a whole lot of other things here in the Mayhem household. And the real funny thing is, February, the month of February, the only days we do not have school tours in the museum in the month of February is Sundays. We have school tours 6 days a week, the whole month of February. It's getting really ridiculous. On that note, if you want to be a part of the show, we'd like you to be a part of the show. If you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love you to be a guest on the show. It's very, very important that the communication is both ways. Davey, let's give the reveal of the joke of the week.
Right.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. What is a pirate's worst enemy? The answer is termites. Mandy Joe gets it.
Oh, God.
I ain't worried about that one.
I like
Yeah. No. All right. So, Davey, we jump right into our thank yous. Can you throw a thank you video up?
Yes.
The Captain Quarters podcast is always searching the world for history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a podcast, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this podcast going. The crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davey Longwood, Cartographer Mandy Joe. Our charities we support: Alias Acres, Humane Society, Inc. The three major charities we support, but always room for more. You too could be part of the show and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. For a small monthly contribution, become a Powder Monkey or First Mate sponsor. Go to YouTube and hit the like and subscribe buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
Good job, Davey. Before you pop anything else up there were some really good comments that just popped up. I wanted to go through them real fast just to acknowledge them. The one that Jim did was absolutely spot on. We like that one. But a couple of others. That one's a very good one, but I like this one here. And you're right. It has never been exclusive to the United States of America. And this one here is especially important. Egypt, Rome, Greece, they all took slaves. You're absolutely right. Captain Smooth says respect is key to the understanding. And this one here is very important for us here in Florida. The Timucuans did it right here before Menendez ever arrived, long before there was a U.S. The Indians did it here in this part of the world. And I'm going to add extra to this one from Nightingale. Every race has been guilty of slavery at one time in their history. What I tell everybody is this: every race has at one point in time in their entire history of that race been on both sides of the coin. They've either been the slaves and or at times the slaveholders. Every race. It's not key to the United States of America. So if people will keep that in mind, it might help. Okay, Davey, put our platforms up there.
Because you go to other countries, it's not an issue.
YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Twitch, and Facebook. We're on all of them. Also, for your listening pleasure, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Stitcher, Twitter, Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Yeah, we're on Spotify in 2 ways, and I keep telling everybody we're going to give Joe Rogan a run for his money. How about our numbers, Davey? Do we have good numbers?
I believe so.
Did Mandy make us something?
She did.
Good. Good numbers. We're trying to work things out so that we get the word out there further. Davey and I had a conversation before the show. We're working on a business card that will cover everything, because we have now found a website that we can have all of the links to everything the Swashbucklers, the podcast, and Captain Mayhem does, all on one page with links for everything. So we're working on that. Hopefully we'll have that up by the end of the month. On that note, there's our mail across the bottom. If you guys want to send us a message and let us know, we're always looking to put crews on board. Any crew that has a calendar of events, let us know what you're doing. And Parlay 8, time for us to decide what to do about having a show together again. So let's talk about it. On that note, it's always a good thing to see some of our good friends. Nice to see Captain Smoo. It's always good to see Parlay 8, and it's nice to see new people. Lord and Paradis. We love that. So, good luck on your dog. We didn't talk much about Little King.
No.
But that's okay. And make sure that you're doing well with everything else. And let's talk about March, because that's only about 4 weeks away.
You got it.
All right, guys. Davey, good show. Hope everybody had a good time.
Davey, hope you feel better.
Thank you.
It's time for me to fade out also, because I have to get up and go do tours tomorrow. So on that note, Davey, how do we sign out?
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always.
Always. That's right. Always. We can't do it without you. Well, we could, but it's just not that much fun with me and Davey here being by ourselves. We have to have some guests and some fun. It's always appreciative. Good luck with everything you're doing over in Panama City. It was great to have you on the show. I hope people got a little extra insight into what the Mayhem Brothers have been doing for the last 18 years. It's a good thing. Good to see you. And ladies and gentlemen, we move on to another day. Davey, I'll see you later on. I'll talk to you in the morning. And Del, I'll give you a holler later on in the week. See how you're doing. All right, on that note, take care and goodbye. Signing off.
With wit and charm they make it.